Welcome, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be back with the Wake Up community. At this critical moment in time, I can't say how much this conversation is needed. I was here maybe a week, 3 weeks ago, and I had a 30-minute window, and it just wasn't enough. And, from everyone who was on the Zoom to people who at the facilitating for the Wake Up community, it was a clear, Alicia, we need to have you back. Um, it's a lot of information to try to, dense information to receive in 30 minutes. So I'm so happy to be back here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're living in some unprecedented times. The world is shifting beneath our feet, and um, this community is pretty sacred to me. And I'm always happy to be here. I was here from the very beginning. Uh, Actually, at the very beginning of COVID, Shawnee and I, right before things like completely erupted, we were doing a presentation and we had met each other and we've been sister friends since. And this is great work. So I just want to say good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, I see some new names coming in. It's always nice to see some new names. Good morning, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be on the Wake Up
Peace
community.
and blessings, Dr. Alicia. How you doing?
Good morning. Lots of,
Dr. Alicia, how you doing?
I am amazing. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Looks like Adam's already excited about learning about crypto again. Put in the chat all.
Adam is on it. Adam is on it.
The future is here.
All right. Been a while since I've been on a 90-minute session too. It's good to have to be able to spend some time with everyone here at this critical point in history. Unprecedented, as I like to say. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wow, great. So many new names.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading. Connecting, connecting, transforming, together, together.
Welcome, everyone. Again, it's always so good to be back here with the Wake Up community. I've been here since the very beginning. I think I was one of the first 2, 3 guests in 2020. Um, and 2020, I was sharing some of the same information about investing, where the world was going, how important it was. And I am here with you 5 years later and how things have unfolded over this time. And so I'll be sharing a little bit of that with you too. Just introduction to who I am. A lot of times I just jump right in because I've been with you also for so many years. But I see a lot of new faces, so I want to introduce myself. I'm Alicia Holmes, also known as the Wealth Whisperer. I often say that my North Star is seeing the Black and Brown communities thriving and prosperous across the diaspora. But my personal mission and passion is the financial empowerment of women, particularly women of color, because I truly believe until women understand markets and economies and take a much more active role in shaping them, we will not see in the most important changes that we want to see in the world. So a little bit about my story. I hail from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, um, very humble, working class, closer to the working poor, upbringing, one of the first in my family to attend college. And while I am at an alumni event at college, I'm on the dance floor, and one of the alumni, I must have been talking about being rich earlier with some friends, one of the alumni whispered into my ear on the dance floor, "So you want to be rich or you want to be wealthy?" And I said, "What's the difference?" And he said, "If you're rich, you'll have money. If you're wealthy, you'll have time." And what I received was a complete and total paradigm shift. What it looks like to have financial freedom, choices, and options, to not have to exchange your time for income, to be able to have an impact in the world with the things that are most important to you. And so I always say there were 3 things that I learned from him that I could say was this new paradigm shift to have me in a position in a financial way of having prosperity and abundance being my drivers, having a life of freedom and choices for me and the ways I've been able to impact my family and the ways I've been able to impact the world, things that I really care about. And so these are the 3 things that I learned. One, you can't hit a target that you can't define. So we're in a conversation about financial prosperity and wealth. And so it was defined, net worth was defined for me. Net worth is when you take everything you own, assets, subtract everything you owe, and that bottom line is your net worth. Now, we all know that our income, our business revenue can go up and up and up, but that doesn't mean that we're building wealth. So the shifting from focusing on our income from our work or even our revenue from business to actually focusing on your net worth and tracking it because we accomplish what we measure is life-changing in and of itself. And then I was taught to be masterful at managing the resources that come into your life, to be an incredible steward of your resources, of your money, because there are two places that our resources flow out of our life to. Two places. They're either building your wealth or they're building someone else's wealth. And I was taught to be in the game of accumulating assets, investing, and not just being a consumer and building other people's wealth. The numbers in our community are dismal when it comes to wealth, and it has a huge impact on all of the things that we care about. And then the last thing I was taught was to be an investor. Savings doesn't build wealth. Work, the mentality of just hard work and then taking all of our hard work and all the value in our hard work and just giving it to other people by being a consumer for them to build their wealth. It was a new paradigm. And armed with that information, I was able to make decisions straight out. I think my second paycheck out of college to be an investor, 2 years out of college, going to auctions, purchasing property, being the only Black woman for sure in the room. I'm trying to even think if there are other women, looking like I'm 12 years old, but having the courage to step into it. And I also want to say that I worked for nonprofits the whole time that I worked for nonprofits because I knew I wanted to be in a life of service. By the time I was in my early 30s, I was able to have a seven-figure net worth. And by the time early 40s, or really before, but I just stayed on, I no longer had to work, financially independent. So I am sharing with you the keys to the kingdom as I feel that they were given to me from someone who was an incredible mentor. So I don't like to just talk. Before I get started with this presentation, that's a little bit about me. If you could type in the chat, say hello, what it means if someone had said to you at 19 years old, the difference between being rich and being wealthy. And the last thing I will share before starting this presentation that's so critical and that has shaped my life. After being coached, I remember that one of the last things before we kind of parted, went our separate ways, that my coach said to me, he's like, Alicia, you have a lot of great information right now, and you have choices to make. There are choices that will lead you to being sick and broke or healthy and wealthy, and it's up to you. And I chose healthy and wealthy. And as much as I can, I share with the community the healthy and wealthy conversation because he also taught me about eating healthy. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. Oops, I don't know why this is up here. Here we go. So again, the last time I was on the Wake Up community, I had a 30 minutes to talk about the courage to move. And we're in a very critical moment and point in history that I really and truly can say the time is now. Next year, the world will not look the way it looks right now. AI is accelerating everything. And so we're seeing a huge wealth transfer and it's shifting without us. So now's the time to move with courage, with committed and intentional action. Because I tell you, as a 23-year-old going into auctions, that took a lot of courage. And every peer of mine, we had all graduated college and, it was a great time. We had great jobs. most people who had more resources than I did, the thought of going into an auction was a little, shaky or even making it a priority. So this is a game right now of being courageous and making choices to be up on information. And I always say, be curious before you get fearful. Fear will shut you down. So this is a time to be curious and to take committed, intentional action. All right. So before I get started, my disclaimer. Trading stocks, crypto, and any other securities involves risk. The risk of loss in traded securities can be substantial. The risks involved with trading stocks, crypto, and other securities are not suitable for all investors. The information presented in this educational material is not intended to be used as the sole basis of any investment decision, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the investment needs of any particular investor. Nothing in this constitutes legal, accounting, or tax advice or individually tailored investment advice. Again, I'm seeing a lot of new faces here. There's a current wealth divide in this country, and it's in a state of emergency for Black families. If it's unaddressed, it's on a path to hit zero by 2053. There's a great study around this. And I always like to refer back to this study, and it's being repeated in big city after big city. The Federal Reserve of Boston did a study, I think this was about 2014, and it looked at the median wealth for households in Boston, and they found these numbers: 250K for white families, 3,000 for Puerto Rican, 2,000 approximately for Dominican, and only $8 for Black families. And this is measuring wealth. And I can tell you at this point, I have worked with thousands of people, mostly professional, Black African Americans. And even when we're at the highest tiers in our salary, we're not investing. If we are investing, we're doing it without the fundamental knowledge of how it works in order to be in the wealth game. And I always say, give ourselves grace because there's a reason for that in this country. And time-tested information about how you manage money, zero-based budgeting, things like that I teach, how you invest to be in this game, and let's say just minimally in the S&P 500. These things have not been passed down to us. And it's resulting in these statistics. And every study, things are getting worse and worse every year. The gap is getting bigger and bigger. And so this is a very recent study from 2019. And this line represents African American wealth. And it actually goes up to 2022. This is very recent. And this is Latina, and this is white Americans. And I want you to see how this gap, it was smaller here. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The work that I do in the world is to disrupt this. And this is a study that showed from the New York Fed. I showed you a study that was done some years ago from the Boston Fed. Now this is from the New York Fed. So I just want us to take to heart that in our communities, resources are flowing in, but when they flow out, they're building others' wealth. All right. So the projections for the world. During the next decade, we will experience more upheaval and create more wealth than we have in the past 100 years. There will be the first trillionaires walk on the earth. With AI, people could build a whole company with 3 people and have it be $100 million or $1 billion company. That's what we're moving towards. And it's an exciting time. And I'm in those rooms and I'm at those conferences and I see all of these new developments. But we're not in that game. If you are not in this game, the other game is the UBI, the Universal Basic Income. It's a model where you receive regular, unconditional sum of money from the government. And it's generally enough to cover basic living expenses like food, housing, and healthcare. It's already been launched in so many places, and New York is one of the premier places that is being launched upstate. So I would, we have to do things differently, or we will find ourselves disproportionately in the UBI space. So I know I'm talking, and I just want everyone to really reflect on where these things, where we're going. So, in order to build wealth, we have to have resources that we use to build wealth. Oh, sorry. No, sorry about that. And we building resources from either our businesses or the income that we get from work. And the future of work and the future of entrepreneurship is being disrupted completely. When AI is the biggest tech disruption in history. Let me hide this. It's in my way. And everyone is in this conversation about AI, with however you feel about it. The world is changing, and you have to understand that, and you have to be prepared for it because change isn't the threat. Because sometimes the conversation about AI is like all these changes. Yes, that's how life is. You know, when we had the horse and buggy and we went to the car, people were really upset about all of the changes. But the changes are here and they create new opportunities. So it's not the change that's a threat. It's being unprepared for it that's the threat. Kathy Woods, I was just watching a short from her, and she talked about if you are on the right side of change, and this is not just now with AI, whether it was in the .com, the personal computers, you know, every industrial revolution, job and investment opportunities are enormous for those who are on the right side of change. How do you get on the right side of change? You have to understand it and what's happening. So let's talk about what's happening. There's a great thorough labor study that shows that 42% of the Black labor force, 6.7 million workers, hold jobs that could be disrupted by 2030. AI is expected to replace 85 million jobs worldwide this year, and it's already happening. And then 76% of Black workers and 62% of Hispanic, that's not my language, workers are at risk of being underprepared or excluded from 86% of all jobs in the US by 2045, within one generation. We're not ready, but we're getting ready. And I'm having this conversation, and I hope that you're having this conversation with people in your life. Because the other side of this equation is AI is expected to create 97 million new jobs globally. It's already happening. I'm in the rooms where it's happening. People are so excited to hire people who are forward thinking in the future. The world of AI requires a different level of energy. The rights, the air rights, water rights of the water all across Long Island. I'm like learning about renewable energy and the plans to build and $1 trillion going in that area, to have the power to drive this new tech revolution, there's a whole lot of jobs around that industry. Are we preparing ourselves? Machine learning, cybersecurity, robotics, data analytics, blockchain. These are the jobs of the future. Remote work and digital entrepreneurship, the whole creator economy, it's just booming, but you have to know the skills. And anyone here who's not deeply involved in understanding and learning AI, you will not be able to compete with those who do. I just want to say that again. If you are not well versed and understanding in these incredible tools, I like to say to people, whatever you ever dreamed about building, accomplishing, and a lot of times when our finances are not handled, we stop dreaming. You can build it and do it now because these tools available to us at the touch are incredible. And then investing in innovation is already outperforming every single area. Tech stocks, AI-driven companies, and crypto are becoming the foundation of the next generation of wealth. This is where we are. Attention to the time. Okay. So, what's at stake? Boy, I like to say we are the ancestors of the future. What we do right now, particularly right now, is going to echo for generations. So we already talked about the wealth gap widening. What does that mean for our children? And an accelerated time for this. What does that mean for the next generations? We have to think about that. Other people are planning 30 and 50 years into the future. AI is replacing jobs. We talked about that. Particularly the jobs that we have been pushed into for decades. Inflation is erasing our savings and the value of our money. If your money is not invested right now, it's shrinking. And I'm going to give you the actual numbers around that. Pensions and Social Security are on very shaky ground. We can't bet on them to carry us. And then on the opposite hand side, tech and crypto, they're minting millionaires every day. And I'm here to share that with you because there is nothing other industrial revolutions. There was a lot to lock us out of playing that game. Just any number of things. We know our history. The only thing that's stopping us right now is what's going on in our mind. And so I want to address that. For those of you who've been here some time, like I've said, I've been in the Wake Up community since 2020. Anyone who took action and had the ability to stay consistent around that would be doing extremely, and I mean extremely well right now, based upon the information I've shared here in this community. So as we are moving forward, the next 5 years, what I want to talk to you today is about moving. So 5 years from now, you'll look back and you can say, wow, I took action. It doesn't take very much to take action at this time. Okay. So this moment in history really, really matters. And it's so important to look at what keeps us from moving. What is it? The fear of making mistakes, not knowing where to start, thinking we're too late, waiting for a partner or expert or any other thing that stops us from moving. First, we have to identify these things because there are some assumptions people make that are actually stopping us from moving forward. And some of them we don't even realize, or we're acting and making decisions upon uh, the information that we're acting, it's really emotion, let me just say, because it's not informed decisions based upon actual information. It's emotions. So I know I've been talking, and I would love for people to share if you are finding yourself not being in this moment with all these opportunities in the game, knowing what to invest in, knowing where the job market is going, and feeling like I am really prepared, understanding where crypto is and why it's so important and how the future of money is changing. And you're not actively making choices. What keeps us from moving? If you could type in the chat, or I will stop for a moment, and if you could share, I'm going to stop sharing. Um, Ladies, our support team, some people could share because I can give incredible information over and over and over here. But it is important to deal with what's going on inside so that we are actually taking action. So, um, anyone want to share? Oh, great. I see a hand going up.
Yes, go ahead, Cheryl. Got your hand up.
Uh,
Blessings. Good morning, Queen and family. I am so blessed to be here. And thank you so much for just being here and having all of this information in a digestible way that I understand how imperative it is to act now. Like, I'm super excited, like, feeling blessed that I came on this morning and I'm ready.
Yes. Yes. It's amazing. And when you say you're like, I love it. I love it to be ready and to know you're ready and then to take action. And this is why I'm here having this conversation. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes, I will definitely be in touch.
Okay. Okay. And I'm gonna share some opportunities to work with me a lot. I have a community. I didn't say that, Journey to Wealth, where I teach women, and now I'm opening up the crypto camp I have coming up. It's for men and women, just so everybody knows. I work with women, um, and so many people from the Wake Up community have been a part of the Journey to Wealth community and seen some real big changes in their lives. Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Did I see another hand? Did we have another hand?
Yes, we have
Yeah, there
another
is another hand.
hand. So Asia, if you want to share.
Yes, yes. Peace, everyone. We appreciate your presence here, Sister Alicia. And yeah, I wish I had a mentor back in the day like that to say, hey, use your money wisely. Because in college, I didn't have much to worry about, just college. I'm just working and going to school.
Mhm.
And yeah, so what's going on inside of me listening to you is a little bit of, oh man, darn shucks. I coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? And why didn't I? So that's a little bit of what's going on
Mhm.
inside. And
Mhm.
then as I put in the chat earlier, I'm grateful that I'm in the right place at the right time because everything happens just as it should. And
Mhm.
right now I have my own business. I'm a solopreneur. And
Mhm.
so right now it's cash flow for me,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I have more
Mhm.
to think about, more hands going into different pots. I'm a
Mhm.
homeowner, which is an investment in itself. The plan is to flip and sell and things. First time doing this. Don't have a whole construction team coming in and doing the stuff. So it's just step by step. Yeah, and getting those emotions out and having the courage to do it and the strength and waking up every day like, yes, I'm doing this. Yes, we are.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's cash flow for me
Yeah.
right now, which is not a huge issue. And I'm grateful to be in the place.
So
And
yeah, so congratulations on that because being a property owner is so important. Congratulations. And the other thing is thank you for your honesty because you bringing it out because that coulda, woulda, shoulda. It affects everybody in some way. And I always say put the past in the past and just start from where you are because this is the best time ever. There's a world of opportunity in front of us, like a world of opportunity. How much time I have? Like I'm looking at time. Well, it was, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, one more person share before we move on.
All right, we've got Chris, but real quick, I just wanted to acknowledge Stacy on Facebook. She had said something that's holding her back is the news headlines pumping fear into the world from mass media. That
Mm,
made her hesitate.
yeah, I'm gonna address that a little bit in our presentation.
Otherwise,
Um,
we've got Chris.
okay.
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Good
Thank you
morning.
for thank you for this session. I've been telling my daughter that it's true. They're not going to be empowered until they're financially empowered. Will you ask what holds us back? Well, I am actively making a little league soccer team and a birthing center. I'm moving things around, and I am actually getting an atomic microscope into the City University of New York. And the things that was limiting me a lot before I started doing it, it was the insecurities of the amount of birthing people that I was going to foresee in the future. Because like when I was documenting this in Kingsborough Community College, 65% of birthing people were impacted by our medical system. And now, as a postpartum support international support coordinator, I have information that 20% of birthing people are having their first child at 35 now, and
Mhm.
30% are of those are experiencing one abortion by 45. So
Mhm.
those numbers, especially the ones that are being decalibrated by our systems, it spooked me out a little bit. So I am trying to overcome those things. I keep telling my daughter, she asked me for world peace. So I am out here trying to figure that out for her. And
Mhm.
thank you for all these information. I am jotting it all down. I am building this birthing sensor.
All right, great, because I got a lot more to share with you guys. This is such good energy in the room. Oh my, Adam, if you could please drop it in the chat, and I'll get back to you later because I want to get back in a little bit. But thank you so much, brother. You're always here and supporting. All right, okay. So I really want us to take a moment and do a little exercise with me. Okay. So if everybody have your notebooks in front of you, the world is moving really fast. Where we are now is incredible what AI is able to accomplish. If you're following what's happened in the medical industry, it's mind-boggling. I have so many friends in California, the brain science work, what you're able to do and cure like never before. And it's moving fast. And maybe I should have done this at the very end because I'm sharing more about what's happening in the world. But what I want everyone to do, if you can, is close your eyes for a moment and imagine that it's 5 years from now. Humor me on this. Really close your eyes and imagine that it's 5 years from now. And you didn't move. And you played it safe. And you stayed busy. And some of the things I'm talking about today were on your low priority list and other things kept you busy. You waited because I'm going to talk about how people just wait and wait. And very often in our community, we enter at the 11th hour when the opportunities have often been missed. So you didn't move, you played it safe, you stayed busy, and you waited. And I want you to think for a moment what your financial life would look like. What doors are closed? What are the things you're still not dealing with and talking about? Now I want everyone to take 1 or 2 minutes and jot something down around this. I should just say whenever I'm presenting, I love for people to have a notebook because when you write things down, it stimulates that part of your brain that make things one side of the brain. It's like the dreamlight state, and the other is about being concrete and taking action. And writing it down stimulates that part of the brain. That's an oversimplification, but it's what happens. And then I want you to take a moment to do this exercise again. Close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to imagine the other path. You got off this call today and you moved. You took action. You started investing, even if it was a very small amount, to show you what's possible. You start spending your screen time to learn about where things are going. You took action, even if it wasn't perfect, because that's a part of the game. You invested, you bought crypto, you bought AI stock. You claimed your seat at the table. Things for the next generation look different for you and the next generations. And to think about, who did you inspire? What did you unlock? And this last question, if everyone could jot this down after you open your eyes, how does it feel to be that version of you? So one of the things I'll say is that because like there's some principles, I can't teach everything, but there's some principles like being a long-term thinker and having a long-term perspective that are priceless and game-changing. And so I love the concept of planting seeds, and the fruits that will bear. It doesn't happen today. And having the perspective that when you get something immediately and you feel good about it, to feel just as good about planting a seed. So it's so interesting because just about every time I talk about investing and where things are going, and it just happened the other day, I was at an event in our community. We tend to always say something about like, what can I do with it? Where the money will, and it's always about that feeling of gratification immediately. But the real game in life that's not the game. It is everyone who ever listened to something I said, and for a moment when things changed, got shook out the market, oh, I sold it, I had made a little money, or it was fault, who didn't give it like a 4-year cycle. And I mean, everyone in all of the years I've been doing this since my 20s didn't have the long-term perspective. It's a feeling of regret. So being able to stay the course, plant seeds, and then look back on it because I look back on the decisions I made when I was in my early 20s, and it feels so good. I look back on the decisions I made 3 years ago, 4 years, five, those seeds that I was planting, to understand how good it feels to look back and know that, wow, I was doing that. You get to do that now. You get to make decisions now that 4 years from now, you're going to look back on and it will feel amazing. So the difference between these two futures is what you choose to do now. So I wanted to do a breakout session, but if I do it, it'll be at the very end. I just want to say that history doesn't wait. The market moves in cycles. The world moves in cycles. We have industrial revolutions. And during those moments, new doors are open. There's so many new doors opening right now. It's unbelievable. And there are moments that will leave you behind if you don't go through those doors. The world is moving and wealth is shifting. So when I say to you, in my 20s, I was saying to all of my friends, I was like, real estate, my mentor, I didn't know how I could really build wealth. He talked about investing in stock and all those kinds of things. But it wasn't until he explained leverage and the power of investing in real estate, how you can take very little, leverage it, have rental income, people paying, that I really like, oh my God, this is how I'm going to build wealth. And I was shouting from the rooftop in Brooklyn when it was very affordable. Any and everyone who had a job could buy property back then. That is no longer the case. Those of you who are in New York and in Brooklyn, having a job does not help you buy a $4 million, $6 million brownstone. But they were 300K and 200 and something K. And having a job, you could do it. That door is closed. Like that big wide open door is closed. And I could see the trajectory that was happening at the time. So when the world is moving and wealth is shifting, so those who took action, buying property back then, you're in a wealth game now. The same thing in technology. I was buying Apple stock in the early 90s. Huge difference. So new industries, new technology, new rules are being written, and they're being written without us at the table. What you do now isn't just about you. It's about your children, your community, and the future that we will all inherit. So the question is, will you move now or look back, wishing that you had? And this is a serious question. Understand there's some things are going on in the chat.
Yes, let me share. We've got a lot of comments from Facebook as well as in here. You know, you got a juicy topic, everyone wants to join in. So Stacy also wanted to clarify that she's not letting the fear of mass media hold her back, but she knows that that's what holds a lot of folks back. And that she's on the journey to wealth. And in here, we're speaking wealth in the building. We're out here, we're in here. And then she's also calling for people to join the JTW community. We're an amazing sisterhood. It's more than finances. Alicia teaches about mindset, which is imperative to growth. We've also got Chrissy, who's sharing it on Facebook because of the great information. Jacqueline said, not sure about what to invest in. I steadily invest in Bitcoin, Apple, and a few other coins and stocks. I'm also not sure how much I should invest. I prefer not to be in a group as it did not work for me. Let's see. Chris said some doors were never closed for him. They were ajar. Approach them. I think that's when we were talking about the in 5 years, the two different futures. Jacqueline also said, how do I get my adult children to listen and pay attention to the signs around them? She takes more risk than they do. Let's lots of chats. Let's see. All right, we've got Adam who shared what he was going to say in the chat. He said, I believe that my spiritual values, are the perfect indicator of my self-worth. Money to me is not the issue. The issue boils down to how I feel about myself, appreciating what I currently have and not worrying about what I don't have, who I surround myself with, and who I choose as my soulmate, especially. The soulmate that I choose can be my asset or my liability, including family members, kinfolk, and friends. It's important for me to pay myself before I play myself. Playing myself for being caught up in spending habits, temptations, giving to folks who are leeches, and having a welfare mindset in anything that may feel good temporarily, but in the long term, it's putting me in a sick and powerless state. I have to pay myself. Power to crypto. uh, And then Chris said, when Europeans' descendants claimed to have arrived in the 1800s with $100 and a dream, a home and a land was worth $10 because BIPOC folks were removed after not adapting to becoming the new currency. And that's all for the chat. Got a lot of rich statements.
Yes.
This topic is bringing a lot out of folks. Love
I
it.
see we are fully engaged.
Yes.
Okay. So where we are now, where the opportunities are now. So keep it coming. I love it in the chat. Please keep sharing. So I want to talk about investing and the fact that we're in this fifth industrial revolution and the reason why there's going to be more millionaires walking the earth than ever before in history. That's a direct quote. Um, I'm literally at the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas earlier, going to meetups and in rooms and, going to conversations about the Dow. Last week was New York Tech Week. Fascinating conversation, one after the other, people thinking and building. There's a young brother, a young group they're building something called 10 Buck 2 for artists, being able to track their artwork and the price of it and the value of it and create value. There's a whole blockchain-based initiative for artists that's brilliant, and it's an exciting time. You could do things that you could never do before as quickly and as easy with where things are going with tech. So I want to talk about how buying and holding. I talked about how real estate, the gift that keeps on giving, the ability to, that's another presentation that I'll probably do at some point in time, the importance in the next year of actually owning real estate and or land, because as things shift, just like it's inaccessible in Brooklyn, we're going to find that inaccessibility around the country and even the world. So it's very important to pay attention to that. But today we're talking about buying and holding innovation investment as a time-tested way to accelerate wealth building. And I'm going to talk about two ways, two things you can do right now to get you started investing in the fifth industrial revolution. As I said, I'm a financial educator and coach. So the information I am sharing with you is educational. Do your research and get in the game and take action. Okay. So innovation. If you've been with me, you may have seen this, but it really captures innovation, disruptive technology. So on the left-hand side, dating myself, boom boxes, camcorders, Walkmans, VCRs, typewriters. I love to talk about the time that my daughters found my college typewriter, and it was kind of state of the art because, I was in tech and it had the backspace, the whiteout, you can press it. It looked like this, like a little computer. And they were like, what is this? And I'm like, that was actually how we did our papers. Like, how did you save it? Like, it's the world of a typewriter. And look at where we are now. All of this technology, all of it fits in our pocket. Disruptive technologies. So we want to look at what are today's disruptive technologies. So in a moment, I'm going to show you what it looks like to investing in a direct disruptive technology in the beginning. If you could put a comment in the chat, artificial intelligence is the most disruptive technology in our history. If we think this, and it's happened faster, this took a decade or so to happen. Now things are happening instantaneously. Every single day, AI is advancing incredibly. And we're in a time of accelerated acceleration happening. What you can do is mind-boggling. I go to these events, and I think everyone, like, I would implore you to find out more information, to join a group where you're finding out more information and be in these rooms. Last week was New York Tech Week. 90% of the events or the side events that were even more incredible were almost all free. We need to be in these rooms. Disruptive. If you feel like this looks disruptive, because this is amazing, what AI is doing right now is next level. If you are, I just want people to take a moment to just type into the chat where you stand, what you're doing, and what you're understanding around artificial intelligence, AI. Okay. So what does it look like to invest in innovation? And I'm going to give you some newer examples the next time we meet. But I want to show you an example. If you had just invested $50 a month for a year, $600, not a penny more in this technology. If you had done it in the late 80s, you'd probably have about 72 shares of this stock, $50 a month. If you had done it in the late 90s, probably have about 48 shares. Nothing but $50 a month. In 1987, we're going to go to 2000. There was a 2-for-1 split in this stock. That means for every share you own, it doubled. So if you had 48 shares, it went to 96. If you had 72, it went to 144. In 2005, they did another 2-for-1 split. If you had 96 shares, it went to 192, and your 144 shares went to 288. 2014, beautiful year. They did a 7-to-1 split for this stock. For every 192 shares, you would have had 1344. For every 288, you would have had 2016. And I want to just say to you, all you did was put $50 a month for 1 year and no more than $600. 2020, they did a 4-for-1 split. So your 1344 shares went to 5,376, and your 2016 shares went to 8,064. I have the value as of March 13th. It would look a little different now, maybe a little higher. That $600 would have yielded you 1.1 million or $1.6 million. I want this to sink in. This particular stock that I am talking about is Apple, the disruptive technology that I just showed you. So I want us to understand the power of investing early. And when you invest early, you actually have to invest very little. NVIDIA is this kind of company. And maybe in about 2011, I had a young cousin staying with me who loved gaming. And they said, you know what, NVIDIA, everybody is following NVIDIA right now. It literally is turned to a almost $1 trillion company if it's not, and it's shaping the whole market economy. Said that they have the best chip. I like to game and they have the best chip. It was a small little company, was not a big player. Now it's shaping the whole industry and market. And there are many players out there like that we have to pay attention to. Stop. Okay. So I like to give people that kind of information that they can actually take action on. And so a easy entry into investing in tech and innovation is something called the QQQs. What the QQQs is, it's an innovation index fund. So the NASDAQ, which is the NASDAQ exchange, you take the top 100 of the largest, most innovative non-financial companies are in this index fund, this index ETF called the QQQs, and it tracks this index. And you have, for this index, they're often looking at taking some companies out that aren't as innovative and putting some companies in. They're doing the work for you. And because it's an index fund, the fees are extremely low. So if you want exposure to the most innovative non-financial companies in one move, if you bought this one ETF, it would give you exposure to 100 companies. So why the QQQs? Leaders like Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla, they call them the Magnificent Seven. You can look it up. And now the other rising stars in the AI, cloud, biotech are in this one index fund, index ETF. Is a proven performer with long-term returns and built-in diversification, 100 companies. It's backed by companies driving the future of money, business, and life. And you can invest through an existing brokerage very often in your retirement accounts or open a new retirement account or brokerage account. I often recommend dollar cost averaging. It is one of the top strategies for building wealth. I just had an investing masterclass where I show the numbers around that. This is a way to invest in what's next safely, easily, and consistently. And again, I'll say, give yourself 4-year cycles. I teach in the investing masterclass why when the market pulls back, if you're investing consistently, that only means you get an opportunity to buy things on sale, and it always goes back to where it was and then extends itself, and it actually will pull back again. It's down more than it's up, but it goes back to where it was and then it extends itself. That's the market economy that we live in. If it stopped doing that, our economy will not exist as it does, and we'd have a different problem. So to understand that that is how the market moves, and this is one option. Again, do your research. I'm a financial educator, but this is a low-hanging fruit, easy way to be in the game. Now I want to talk about the cryptoverse, and I'm looking at time here. I always ask this question, how many people have FOMO, fear of missing out, phobia, fear being in, or both? So I'm going to share some information with you today about what's happening in the world of money. The future of money is digital and is sitting on the blockchain. I just came from the Bitcoin conference. I've been going to crypto conferences and meetups since, I would say, I don't know, 2016. I've never been to a conference. The room was full of government officials, top corporations. It right now, mass adoption. I'm going to share a little bit of some of the things that came out of that conversation. We're in the midst of that. We have to keep ourselves informed and see where the future is going. And there's nothing like right now. And I showed you what happened with Apple, like investing in the future right now. It doesn't take very much. It takes having the funds. It takes having the right information. So I'm going to talk about blockchain, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrency. So we understand the internet changed our lives, and it simply was technology that let one computer talk to the other and then figured out how to let one computer actually exchange information with the other. That's it. Changed our lives forever. The way the internet changed our access to information, the blockchain technology is changing the way that we interact. So I'm going to give you a very general overview about what the blockchain is, because you see how the internet changed our lives. Very simple, but opened up a world for us. So the blockchain, so let me just say, like the internet, there was protocols, ICTP, the exchange packets, all that technology behind it. I wanted to know that. But you didn't have to know that to invest in it and do well. So I'm going to give you a little background around the technology of the blockchain. But what's most important is to understand the potential and the impact. And I say with blockchain technology, we're in a dial-up phase. Remember the dial-up phase? Those of you who remember the beginning of the internet, when you couldn't be on the phone and on the internet at the same time, that's where we are about the blockchain. But you see how it has expanded and changed our lives. So the blockchain allows peer-to-peer transactions through distributed ledgers. Why is that important? Everything, data is the new gold. And the way we work and live now is everything you do is captured in a ledger. You buy something, where you buy it from, they capture it in their ledger for their inventory, how much you pay for it. It's in a ledger somewhere. They're almost all electronic now. If you do it with a credit card, the credit card company is then capturing your information, how much you spent and how much you paid. They're then capturing that with the banks who are managing that. Everything in this digital age is in ledgers. So the blockchain allows peer-to-peer, being able to exchange, just like the internet, peer-to-peer exchange of information all over the world, through distributed ledgers across a network of computers without the need for a central authority, to be able to transact without the need of a central authority, mostly bank and government. The integrity of the contents of this distributed ledger doesn't rely on any specific individual, organization, or banks or government, but on the underlying software technology, which is built upon cryptography, which is so important to the history of the advancement of our society, the background and the technology of cryptography. Do you need to know all of this? You need to know some of it. When I first decided that I was going in 2012, someone in the IT department at NYU said to me, Alicia, you got to come. We're having meetups in the park around cryptocurrency about this new Bitcoin. I literally would walk past them. I had kids and they would be meeting and talking, mostly a bunch of white dudes. They never stopped me before. I just was busy. Almost anybody who was in those meetups, all of those folks are now wealthy beyond their imagination. And I'll show you why. In 2026, when I was 16, a friend of mine, we said we're not going to spend another year without learning about Bitcoin because we watched too many people in our circles become wealthy beyond their imagination. And the first thing I did was go on Udemy and take an inexpensive course in blockchain just to understand it. You decide how you want to play this game. You could learn more in that way, or you could just focus on where things are going. But we cannot not be informed. So Bitcoin was the first decentralized currency to run on a blockchain technology. It is a currency. Anything that's not Bitcoin is considered an altcoin. Some of them are currencies. Some of them have utility. Ethereum helps you write smart contracts so that you can interact and facilitate these exchanges on the blockchains. I have a crypto camp coming up where I go into more depth about these things so you can really understand it. What you need to understand is it's peer-to-peer transactions on a blockchain. It's borderless. It uses technology as the solution.
Before we move on, Alicia, real quick, it is a little bit after the 8 o'clock hour, so I just want to acknowledge those that may have to hop off, transition to work. We appreciate you staying on for as long as you can, but if you have to hop off, we understand. If you can stay on longer, Alicia's got a great special offer. I know everybody's interested in this topic, so the special offer will also be a hot commodity. So if you can stick around, stick around. Otherwise, Gina dropped Alicia's contact info in the chat, or you can catch the recording. We also have a few things in the chat I wanted to read out. Florence also highlighted that you don't have to buy the whole stock, but you can also buy a piece or part of a stock if that's intimidating to folks. Chris was talking about how his mom yelled at him a lot during the dial-up phase. And then it looks like we've got a few people with a limited understanding of AI. And Chris wanted to know how he can get into those rooms where these topics are talked about.
Many of them are, it's just having the right information. Like I know because I'm in the area about the New York Tech Week. If you went online and just like, ooh, you look through a list of them and you just registered for them, it was that simple. It's really having access to the right information. And then, once you're in these networks, people share things. Every time I turn around, someone who knows me is inviting me to another event, who's inviting me to another event. And then I go to an event and I find out about other events. In the Journey to Wealth community, we do a lot of sharing about like things that are available to us. So I am going to move quickly because I didn't realize people have to get off at 8. So I'm going to move on a little bit and just talk about Bitcoin by the numbers. This is top performing companies of all time. There's some newbies here. This is where Bitcoin is. If you had put $100 in Bitcoin in 2010, it would be worth 9 million today. $100. In 2020, when I was talking to everyone here, Bitcoin was 6,438. Now it's over 100. I think it hit $109 yesterday. You can buy fractional shares. Again, the best way to approach it, $25 a month, starting wherever you want to start, but to be in the game. When I was buying Apple stock, I was putting very little in it. And then I decided for 2 years not to buy any clothes. What's the worst thing that happened? I had too many clothes anyway. If it all went wrong. And back when I was buying it, people were making fun of it. Just like and talking about it was ridiculous, just like they started talking about crypto. and know that that is the game. Um, the S&P 500 was here. It's up 108%. The NASDAQ 134. Crypto up over 1,000%. I'm gonna move on. So I want you to understand what the dollar does is it holds value so that you could spend it. You work, you get a dollar. All that time and energy you spent, that hour's worth of labor, is put into a dollar and it's holding that value. What happens to that value, that dollar, after you work and put your blood, heart, sweat, and tears into it? It has lost over 25.6% of its purchasing power since 2020. What does that look like? My $4.99 olive oil that I love from Trader Joe's is now $10.99. Declining value. Bitcoin has surged over 1,000% in the same time frame. Your dollar is losing value. There's so much around the U.S. debt. There are 40 countries meeting about BRICS to take the world off the U.S. dollar as a standard. So much is happening in the world around the dollar. But what we do know is that with inflation, money printing, that the value of the dollar has gone down. So do you want to hold your money in an asset where the value is going down, or something where the value is going up? Holding dollars means losing buying power. Holding Bitcoin means increasing long-term wealth. And this is a really great, while I was at the crypto conference, a legacy question. If you had $1 million in cash, would you rather leave $1 million in cash, knowing what really happens to the dollar, or 10 Bitcoins? One loses value with time, the other builds wealth across generations. Bitcoin is the top performing asset in history. Again, I just came from this Bitcoin conference. JD Vance opened the conference, the keynote. The Vice President of the United States talked about how Bitcoin is no longer speculative, it's a balance sheet asset. The US government is aligning Bitcoin and digital assets. Every day they're moving forward. New legislation is being created. Owning digital assets, the government owning them, is being tied to boosting the GDP and reducing national debt and reclaiming financial leadership. They're talking about Bitcoin is going to be the US being the capital of Bitcoin. US has positioned itself to be a leader in the global digital economy because they fell back behind. The window of uncertainty is closing. Government support is no longer a question, it's a commitment. We need to understand that's important. Traditional finance is embracing it. The Bitcoin ETF, 11 companies launched. When I saw that this was happening in 2023, the proposals were on the table. In 2024, it was approved in January. We're seeing that's a traditional finance completely embracing BlackRock, Fidelity, selling Bitcoin in the form of an ETF. You could buy it in any retirement account, any stock trading account. Prior to any ETF that has ever been launched, the number one ETF that hit 10 billion, it took 647 days to do that. The Bitcoin ETF got there in 49 days. What is that telling you about this asset? JP Morgan, BlackRock, all launching uh, things on the blockchain right now, which is cryptocurrency. I don't have time to go to it through in detail, but just yesterday, like headlines, like I'm giving you headline, JP Morgan plans to offer clients financing against crypto. You could take loans out against your crypto ETFs. Um, Crypto ETF are trumping precious metal gold ETFs, surpassing them, and Bitcoin is being considered the digital gold. Businesses are binging the wall on crypto, dialing up the market risk. About 60 companies with no prior ties to the crypto market embracing the so-called Bitcoin treasury. What does that mean? Companies like to have cash flow. Where do they sit their cash? Many of them sit their cash in different kind of accounts, and some of them invested. Large companies do this. If you know MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor decided to put their cash reserves in Bitcoin and took that company to the next level. Now, so instead of sitting their cash reserves in US dollars that are declining, many companies now are putting their cash reserves in crypto, most often Bitcoin, because the dollar is losing value and crypto is gaining value. Now, I know I've gone over a lot. Do we have time? There's a great video, if I could just share a little bit of it.
Back to 50 on its way to 300,000. In 2024, a lot of people are going to be shocked when they see those headlines of Bitcoin at 300,000. I thought it was over. I thought it was a scam. No, you've been had, took, and bamboozled. They tricked you to make you sell everything you had so that they can benefit from the technology that you threw away. And then they'll tell you, yeah, man, it's a good idea now because they have it. Fidelity, JP Morgan, all these banks are not buying up Bitcoin, not creating infrastructure, and not producing some of the best Bitcoin products and crypto products for no reason. They're doing this to control and manipulate and dominate the sector. And they need time to do that. So they get you off the trail, tell you it's a scam, tell you it's a trick, put your favorite celebrity or CEO in your face telling you it's a trick, and then you get off the trail. And you forget about it for a year. And they buy it all up. And that's the reason why the rich get richer. The poor get poor because we let them trick us with their media.
So that's Tall Guy Tycoon.
So they have to get you off.
He's doing an incredible job. I think this is from like 2023, 2024, when everybody was like, isn't that a scam? I'm like, oh, do your research, understand the same people who are trying to trick you into saying this is a scam are buying it. And now mass adoption, all the top companies and our government. How many of you fell for and were afraid of crypto? So I'm going to leave you with this and a few things. You can now invest in Bitcoin through an ETF, if in your retirement account, any of those accounts. I highly recommend that you do it on a crypto exchange and actually hold your private key in your coin. Implementing a dollar cost averaging strategy where you're investing incrementally over time, and just increase your knowledge and education. Don't be fooled by mass media. It never has been meant to serve us. Get the right information. Okay, I have a crypto camp coming up. It is for men and it's for women. The work that I'm doing this year, because I know how important it is to see Bitcoin go from 6,000 to 115, even in 2023 when it was $16,000. And I was just, with all everybody I was knowing, I was like, please, you don't understand. There's ETFs on the horizon. Traditional finance is completely embracing it. Now our government is completely embracing it, talking about raising funds and giving as a store of value. There are countries that are making it their national currency. So we can't afford not to be in this game. Starting with the essentials, everything you know have to know about wallets, common mistakes, building a portfolio on any budget, staying smart and informed, and having an action plan for the future. It's so important that we have the right information now and take action on it. And then I have my boot camp. Some of you have done it. It's like a 4-week program. You're doing your net worth, you're doing your budget, your dream-based budget, I call it. You are learning about investing, the fundamentals. You're cleaning up your current investments and looking at investing for the future. It's a paradigm shifting change. Here are the QR codes. You can kind of scan it. Information is also in the chat. We have to take this seriously now. We can't sit on the sidelines. Now is the time. So I've been saying this for a couple of years. Those who got in with me in 2023, 2020, 2016. But this year, because next year things are going to look so different. We can't imagine. We cannot afford to enter at the 11th hour. There will be none. You will be completely out of the game. And those statistics for our community will be real. We have to take this really seriously. If you enroll in the October boot camp, today only, you get to take the crypto camp for free. I love this. A year from now, you wish you had started today. The future is being decided. It's being decided. The government, the banks, the companies, we're moving. Digital currency, blockchain technology, crypto, just like with the internet, there is an urgency to act, take action. Do it scared, do it uncomfortable, but it's important to take action. For more information, please follow me on social media. This is all of the ways that you can reach me. I just want to take a moment and go back here. I hope that this conversation has moved you to think about making some really, really big decisions about yourself, the people who are close to you, the impact we want to have in our community, and get in the game where things are going and moving forward for the future. Okay. And, I see some people talking about Africa being a social and financial future of worldwide. I was at the blockchain conference at Howard University last year, and I'll be going this year. And there's some brothers who ran workshops on setting up nodes and blockchains they were particularly from Kenya. They're setting up solar farms for mining crypto. They were doing some of the most advanced things. They literally are Kenyans who went to Howard and are doing incredible. They were talking about one of the first one was from the Congo. So Africa is like, yes, and they're moving. There's so much I could say about how the traditional financial system has locked Africa out, like playing the game. I know because I've gone there, I've done work, I've tried to invest. And so blockchain is actually creating new opportunities. And so I'm looking at whoever has wrote that in a way like never before to play in the world game of finance. I'm just looking at some of the things in the chat. Uh, yes, we are the
Hi,
answer of the future.
excuse me. Good
Yes.
morning, Alicia. In the Facebook land, they're unable to scan the QR code. It's not working. Is there a link? Or
Yeah, I dropped the link in the chat for you ladies in the very beginning
okay.
so that we could quickly share it. It's I'll grab it again. I meant to let you know that. Okay, I'm gonna
I just
drop the
found it.
link in the chat
I just put it in the
again for the
chat
crypto
right now.
camp.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All righty, thank you. And the October boot camp as well.
Okay, let me drop that link. I'm
Okay,
gonna
thank
stop
you.
sharing for a moment. I always love if you could take a moment and I really look at reflections on the information that was shared today in the chat. I like to know where people standing with this information because it's so important now.
I think that just based off some of our recent shares, it definitely seems like people would benefit from that crypto boot camp. Jacqueline says that she's been in your groups. She needs to get back into that space, but that she also needs a personal touch. So she'd like to deal with financial advisors who are versed in crypto, innovation, and disruptive technology. Um, and then she asked, where do you put your Bitcoin? Using wallets is where she struggles. So definitely sounds like she might benefit from that crypto boot camp.
And that's what I'm going over all of that, how to secure your crypto and all of those things. It's so funny because so cryptocurrency, there's something called family offices. Anybody familiar with family offices? So this is what the super wealthy use. You have to have like minimum, and usually it's more, a $30 million to have a family offices. Fidelity offers them BlackRock. They set you up. You come up with a family crest, what your family is intending to do for the future. So they've been getting all the information about the crypto ETFs. There was a movement of family offices, uber wealthy, their financial advising system to put 2% in Bitcoin before it hit 100K. 70 to 80% of current financial advisors know nothing about crypto. I'm not even talk about the fact that many of them are not prepared for retirement or don't even own property, the biggest wealth builder. So when you're vetting, I mean, the work that I do in Journey to Wealth around being empowered and vetting financial advisors and knowing the information because we work differently as women, particularly we just hand things over to them. Because I saw that. So just so you know, most or many, I went to lunch with a group of dear friends of mine celebrating one birthday. We've been friends since college. And one of them just kind of looked at me and said, Alicia, in like 2018, when you were talking about this, I talked to my financial advisor and he knew nothing about crypto. And he was like, I don't do it. I think it's a scam, like everything. And she said now he's like the biggest advocate when you were telling me in 2018 because he just didn't know, didn't understand. And I wish I had listened to you. This is a real talk conversation. So do your own research. I would say it's really, really, really important and get in the game. And you may find yourself talking to professionals that know nothing about this unless you're the uber wealthy and you got family offices and you're playing the game of that level because they all have to know.
All right. And then Yolanda, when it comes to reflecting, had said, looking forward to becoming more informed. I need to come back to Journey for Wealth. That is also me. I came in hoping to be more informed. I'm young and dumb with my money. So I was taking my notes, looking up how to get into crypto and all that during the session. So I feel empowered to keep the journey going.
Absolutely. Set up a Coinbase account. I was going to go through it and slide it and have time, just set up a Coinbase account, nothing but $25. And, Bitcoin is the first mover, too big to fail, mass adopted all over the world. Ethereum, XRP is, huge for cross-border transactions internationally, taking out the SWIFT system, upgrading it. Yeah, this is the time. Huge, huge, investment opportunities. So, yes, for some of you, come on back to Journey to Wealth, the crypto camp. I'm doing things so differently going forward, but these classes this year and the boot camp this year, it's about getting your money right. You're investing, but also getting your money right, getting your mind right, being in the net worth game. It's a paradigm shift. So yeah.
All right, thank you. Let's move into our final slides here. That over. In that same thread of investing, I always like to try to tie it to the session. With when we talk about love offerings and donations, that's a form of investing. We allow for these sessions to happen weekly, daily. So for those that have the ability to, please consider the monthly love offerings. You can click the link that Gina will drop in the chat and set up for it to be automatically taken from the account. You can set it up and forget about it, just like you can with the investing things. If you got a high yield, just set it up and forget about it. This allows us to continue to have these conversations, to hold this platform. Zoom isn't free, and so that's what these go to. Everybody volunteers, all the facilitators, all the admins. So really, you're investing in the ability to share the words of the community, from these teachings to just people talking about, self-help topics, everything. This is how we continue to move forward and invest in ourselves. So please consider if you can. If you can't do the monthly offering, totally understandable. We also have the option for you to send any amount you'd like in one time. You can either do it through Zelle or ClickPay at sowleadershipdevelopment@gmail.com. We also have a Cash App at $Spirit of a Woman. And if you're coming from today and this is the session you were moved to donate from, please put code 1388AH so that way we know that the talk of money fueled you and that's what brought you and inspired you to share with us. So thank you. Coming up next, we're talking about AI. Shane is also very knowledgeable on it. So make sure you join tomorrow while she talks about boss moves. Shayna always has something new to bring to the table and always has a good conversation ready for us. So if you can join tomorrow, please do. And then on Thursday, we've got Mika Joseph. Words are not just sound declaration. Ooh, I missed that word. Sounds, but declarations of your belief. So if you can join us on Thursday, Mika always brings a great topic as well. So make sure you keep tuning in, keep coming back so you don't miss any good topics. And if you do, they're all online. The Woo Nation welcomes all new members. I know we had, I think, a few new names at the beginning there. So thank you for anyone that maybe you're new to Alicia's topics. I had to introduce myself to her today, and I am very glad that I picked today's session to facilitate because I've got a lot of notes to look back on, and I know I'm inspired to continue moving. So make sure you invite your people, bring your family, your friends, so that way we can all grow together and build the community's wealth. Ooh. I don't know what happened there. 1 second, sorry.
Oh, can I share one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm partnering with a group called BK Crypto, who are amazing, and it's being hosted by the Disruptor DAO. I think they've been on the show before. It's actually kind of a sister organization to Journey to Wealth. I'm an advisor and one of the original founders. And so we're doing a full out town hall next Wednesday evening. And I think somebody is going to be on Woo talking about it. I don't have the link to put in the chat, but we'll be doing a town hall. Maybe we could put it on a Facebook group. BK Crypto, phenomenal. Their story, a group of folks in Brooklyn who just got together, started investing in crypto. All of them changed their lives and they're committed to the community. Disruptor DAO, Disrupting the Wealth Gap, and Journey to Wealth. So make sure you show up for that town hall. That's going to be powerful too. It's a conversation. We want people talking about it. And then a crypto camp is next Saturday after that.
Oh, that sounds good. We'll try to get that information on that and post it in the Facebook comments. So that way, anybody that was here today, just head over to Facebook and we'll try to get that information gathered for you.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. All right. And then finishing up with our schedule, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday are our longer sessions. So 7 to 8:30. Sometimes we push it because the conversation's juicy. We love to keep it going. And then Monday and Wednesday are our shorter sessions, allegedly. Also, those times, it's hard to fit something into 30 minutes. We always love to extend where we can. We're always live on Zoom. If you're not able to join the Zoom space, we also stream live on Facebook. So make sure if you're on the move and you want to join, that's sometimes I'll join from Facebook and kind of just stalk over there. If you want to be alerted when we do go live, you can text Woo Nation to 74121. And and staying in touch, you can click on the links that Jean will drop in the chat. That way you're emailed each week letting you know what facilitators we have coming up so you can kind of plan around that. We also have our 2 Facebook groups. The Woo community is the private one. Woo Nation is the public one. Again, those will be the links dropped in the chat. And then on the public one is where we'll go ahead and add that the crypto information that Alicia just shared. And then you can also follow us on Instagram at Wake Up Everybody Virtual. We also have the YouTube going. I'm still slowly but surely adding the old videos. Alicia wasn't kidding when she said she was here from the jump. I think the very first video I found saved in the the old recordings was one of your videos. So that's why I also was looking forward to facilitating with you one of these days. I was like, she's one of the OGs. So you can find us at Woo on YouTube. And then if anybody's interested in volunteering, having any questions, or even facilitating your own session, you can always email us at info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. I will take down the share. And I invite everyone at this time to come off mute, come on camera, and give Alicia a much deserved love shower. She's helping us build our wealth. So let's make sure we pour back into her as we can.
Money, money,
Thank
money,
you,
money.
love. Much appreciated. Thank you, Queen. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's so informative.
Thank you.
Crypto, crypto, crypto.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Again,
Very
wonderful
very
information as usual. Just setting us on fire. Yes.
So much, Dr.
Burning down Maslo's
Great
house.
information.
Thank
We
you.
Thank you so
prepare
much.
ourselves
For the fair
because
facts.
it's
Appreciate it so
going to
much.
pay
I can't
ourselves
wait to get
later
in
on.
contact with you to get more informed and to attend your camps. Appreciate you all. Have a wonderful day. Bye
Ashe,
for
ashe,
Hey,
now.
everybody.
ashe.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sister Alicia, for